celebrate the anniversary of the sit-in movement, a movement that led to the elimination of segregation in public accommodations. Each year, we celebrate with a week of activities. We know that you want to be a part of it. You don't want to be a carpetbagger. Freedom carpetbaggers, those that came to Oklahoma after the sit-in, after the walk-ins where we walked on northwest Oklahoma City, where we cried out that blacks would have the right to live in Edmond, Midwest City, and all. You were not here, but there were people in Oklahoma City that put their lives on the line in order that you could move northwest, Edmond, Yukon, and what have you. And today we call upon you to support our efforts. Our telephone number out here is 672-1220. We want to see to it that you are not a freedom carpetbagger, a person that got your bags and headed south. And now you're going to restaurants, you're going to hotels, you're living anywhere you want to, you're working. But I have news for you. Wherever you go, I want you to remember one thing if you forget everything else, that you're still black. You need the NACP. You need somebody to speak for you. This week we received more complaints of people that have been discriminated against more probably than any time this year. Blacks that are being fired, blacks that are being demoted. Yes, we need NACP and we need you. Are you a freedom carpetbagger? One that took your bags and came to the South. But let us take a good look at the South. I told you that when we returned from the NACP convention in New Orleans, Louisiana, I told you that the leadership of our nation was there, the mayor of Philadelphia, Mayor Streets, and others. And I also told you that Mr. Soniak met us with tears in his eyes and told us that the governor of that state, Governor Foster, had referred to the NACPers as jungle bunnies. Some of you laughed, but that's not funny because it was our time then. But let us go to Tampa, Florida. Let's go to Tampa, Florida. More than 1,000 people attended an annual meeting of the Progressive National Baptist Convention left a downtown Marriott hotel after they saw a white hotel worker spit into a punch bowl. The results was a line of black Baptists who was dressed in tuxedos, beautiful gowns, going to the Marriott, where they were gathered to hear the convention president, President Daniels, say that I am angry, I am disgusted, and I'm hungry. All they had called for the best menu, salmon, filet mignon, as part of their 40th anniversary celebration. What a day. President Daniels said that we have passed the day when we spend our money and get kicked in the behind. President Daniels said, we serve notice tonight on the city of Tampa, Florida, the mayor, the convention leaders, the elected officials, that we are not second-class citizens. Convention members began arriving in Tampa this past weekend for a whole week of our activities. One of the highlights was a dinner at the Marriott Waterside Hotel. And it was 7 o'clock. The convention members say that the workers spit into the fruit punch. And the convention members walked out. They tried to reach the general manager, but they could not. When that they couldn't talk to the manager, the president reached for a microphone and instructed the group to leave. Clara Luper reporting. Those of you that know about the Progressive National Baptist Convention, you know it consists of over 2,000 churches and 2.5 million members. Clara Luper reporting today, telling you that you need the NACP, the Urban League, and other organizations. Don't ever think that we have it made. Yes, we have come a long ways, but we still have a long ways to go. That's why it's important that we look back and spotlight a continuous faith. There were those that had faith that segregation as we had known it would be removed. That's why on Sunday, August the 19th, Mrs. Bosie Walker announced that that would be Doc Williams Day. At 4 p.m., people will gather at the Evangelistic Baptist Church of Christ on 30th and Martin Luther King to remember Doc Williams. Who was Doc Williams? A black businessman, a black bondsman who got us out of jail. Dr. F.D. Roseborough will deliver the message. And if you have not heard him speak, I want to invite you to be at the Evangelistic Baptist Church of Christ on Sunday, August the 19th, and that was the day that the sit-in movement started in Oklahoma City, August 19th, 1958. And there are those here that will always remember that date. Although Mrs. Bosie Walker is in the hospital today, she's at Presbyterian Hospital. Miss Bosie Walker says that she knows that you will support her. You will support her because she is working. Here's a Mrs. Bosie Walker, who doesn't have one child that's involved in the NACP, who goes and pick up other people's children, who sacrificed for other people's children. And now Mrs. Bosie Walker is saying to you, come on Sunday, August the 19th at 4 p.m. and hear Dr. F.D. Roseborough, one of the great leaders of our city. His choir will come along too. But on Monday, August the 20th, there will be Johnny Green's Day. Johnny Green, truly an unsung hero of the sit-in movement, an attorney who walked and walked and walked, showing us our legal rights, standing in court, pleading for our rights, arguing the rights of black people to eat based upon the 14th Amendment. How can you say thank you to Johnny Green? Mrs. Rosetta Coleman is the coordinator for that day, and she's baking cakes because that's what Johnny Green did. He baked in a new day for us. Now you come to Freedom Center on Monday, August the 20th from 11 o'clock on. Mrs. Rosetta Coleman will be there. When we think of Tuesday, August the 21st, our minds go back to Cecil L. Williams, known as a black businessman, a young man who dedicated his life to working for a better day for his people. Cecil L. Williams cried out for voter registration, and so often he quoted Frederick Douglass in saying, "The quickest way to freedom is by way of the ballot box." Cecil L. Williams Day will be celebrated with people like you looking at your registration papers, making sure you're registered to vote, and then doing what you can to get out to vote. They will be having a salad aroma day, where you can get any kind of salad you want, because you're going to mix those salads, different kinds, different colors, different sizes, all in memory of Cecil L. Williams. And I call upon the Williams family to get busy. Call Mrs. Leola Ford and Miss Wilma Ray and tell them that you are willing to do what you can to keep the memory of Cecil L. Williams alive. Mrs. Ford's number is 424-2462. Miss Ray is at 755-6188. On Wednesday, August the 22nd, is President's Day, and that's coordinated by our young president, John A. Pettis Jr. There will be a big musical, and John Pettis said, I want it at my church, Reverend Dallas Church in the southeast part of Oklahoma City at 7 o'clock, and he wants you to be there. But on August the 23rd, 2001, that's Sit-Inners Day, coordinated by Mrs. Gloria Mathis, and today there is a garage sale at 1500 Northeast 50th Street, where Mrs. Matthews is inviting all of those sit-inners to come by, purchase some of the goods that she has, and she has all kinds of goods, all to make Sit-Inners Day a big day. On Friday, August the 24th, is Nancy Davis, Letty Ruth Hunter, and Lillian Oliver's Day, unsung heroes of the sit-in movement. Although Lillian Oliver sleeps in yonder's grave, her memory remains dear to all of us, because it was the three of them that came up with the idea that during the Freedom Fiesta they would have a breakfast and a fashion show. And those of you that knew and remembered Lillian Oliver, we want you to respond on that day. We want Letty Ruth Hunter and Nancy Davis's students to respond on August the 24th. Breakfast at 7:30 at Freedom Center, 2609 North Martin Luther King. Letty Ruth Hunter told me that she was making some biscuits. Oh, me, oh, my. What a day. But on Saturday, it's Clara Luper's Day, coordinated by Mrs. Maxine Stale, Mr. Burley Nero, and Mr. Rodale Hornby. Clara Luper's name symbolizes all that have participated in the sit-in movement, whether they marched, whether they cried, whether they prayed, whether they led songs, whether they preached, or whether they talked, and whether they talked about Clara Luper. The annual Clara Luper's Day, kicking off with a parade, lining up at 10:30 at Pitts Park here in Oklahoma City. And then at 11 o'clock, the parade will kick off. Open house will be held at Freedom Center, 2609 North Martin Luther King. But then at 6:30 p.m., it will be the annual Clara Luper's Freedom Fiesta Dinner, located in the Donald Burns Fellowship Hall. Although Donald Burns sleep now in yonder's grave, although he was one that was cut down on that April day in 1995, his church has honored him by naming the Fellowship Hall the Donald Burns Fellowship Hall. And this year, at 1700 Northeast 7th Street in Oklahoma City, the Clara Luper's dinner will be held there. Now, let's talk business. Let's just talk business and common sense. All of you that participated in any way in the freedom marches or cries or what have you, don't do like somebody called me and said, Miss Luper, I'm not going to support you because I'm going to the football game. And I say to you, thank God you're going to the football game. But as you go, remember the NACP made it possible for you to go. Because if it had not been for the NACP, no blacks would be playing on that football team. It was an Ada Lloyd Scipio case in the NACP. And people like Don Burns and Doc Williams, Johnny Green, and others that made it possible. Don't you forget it. The Clara Luper's Freedom Fiesta Dinner. And every year we honor 5 people that have symbolized the true spirit of the city. Let us look at these people. Let us look at them. Mr. James Gatewood, Reverend Jim Shields, Mrs. Elnora Douglas, Mr. Thomas Redwine, Mrs. Marie Weekly, and Mrs. Bosie Walker. Each one of these awardees will have a table, and if you want to show love toward them, call them. And let me go back over them. Mrs. Elnora Douglas, Mr. James Gatewood, Reverend Jim Shields, Mr. Thomas Redwine, Mrs. Bosie Walker, and Mrs. Marie Weekly. The time for talk is over. It's now action. Those of you that believe and those of you who want to continue the faith, step out. The tickets are reasonable. You will decide where you want to sit based upon your own desires. You will decide. Nobody else will decide but you. Let me give you the areas. We have a diamond section. Those are people that that have donated for years and will continue to donate $100 to help with the program. Then the gold tickets, $50 each. The silver tickets, $25 each. Oh, yes, I can hear you now saying you don't have $25. Pay for it just like you pay for everything else on the installment plan. Diamond tickets, $100 each. Gold tickets, $50 each. Silver tickets, $25 each. And in order to get your tickets, you can contact any of the people whose names I've already called, and certainly you can contact me. You know, we have a dine, I don't know what you call it, but we wait till people die and bring food and flowers and all of that. Give the people their flowers while they live. If you really love Mr. Gatewood, Mrs. Elnora Douglas, Reverend Jim Shields, Mr. Thomas Redwine, Mrs. Bosie Walker, and Mrs. Marie Weekly, you show it by being present and there. When they walk out, you will be there. The guest speaker for the Clara Luper's dinner this year will be a young man who has brought so much to our minds and our hearts. Mr. John Pettis Jr. will be the guest speaker. And if you miss him, you will miss a treat. Well, I've told you, and you don't be like somebody told me, Clara Luper, I'm not going to support you. I said, that's all right. You don't have to support me, but I tell you who supported me. Mrs. James Woods, who supported me through the years. I could go on down the line. Dr. Mason, Joyce Henderson, I could go on down the line. But the only question is, are you going to support? Not Clara Luper, because Clara Luper will soon be like others, sleeping in yonder's grave. But the fight will go on. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the great things that I've done is to obtain the services of a man that has meant so much to us through the years, who not only talked about us, not only walked about us, not only cried about us, but put his money where his mouth was. And ladies and gentlemen, Words of Wisdom by Fluky.
Hey, hi, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Master your habit, and your habit or your habit will master you. It's the wisdom of the day.
Wait a minute, repeat that again. Repeat that again, Fluke. I love it. Okay, am I connecting?
Master your habit.
Master your habits. Or
Your habit will master you.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one, Fluke.
Your habit.
Thank you.
Your habit will master you.
Thank you. Will we see you at the Clara Luper dinner?
I'll be there.
Well, thank you. Last year you were one of our honorees. How did you feel when we honored you last year?
Thank you so much.
That's what you felt. Thank you so very kindly. Oh, I know you better master. I'll tell you what, the words of wisdom, master your habits, or your habits will master you. That's a good one. I never shall forget that, and I've written it down, and I have it.
Thank you.
Okay. Today is Bean Day at Freedom Center. According to Mrs. Maxine Stale, our food coordinator at Freedom Center, today they are selling beans, brown beans, pinto beans, lima beans, big beans, chili beans. They are serving peach cobbler, pear cobbler, good old homemade cake, cornbread, yes, and some kind of salad or slaw. Go up to Freedom Center today and say, I want to be a part of the Freedom Fiesta Week celebration. I know it takes money to keep these lights on. I realize the high cost of utilities. I realize the children that are here, and I know the kind of homes they are coming out of. They need help, and I want to be a part of it. And when you go up there, be sure and tell them you heard it on the Clara Luper radio show. Yes, today I'm talking about problems. Now, would you have believed that here are over 1,000 black people in Tampa, Florida, and some waiter would spit in there, oh my Lord, in that punch. We haven't finished yet. We've got to keep fighting. Why do you keep on fighting? I got to, in order that my children and my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, my great great grandchildren will have a better day. Because if I don't fight now, who will? Last week I had the opportunity to be in Fort Worth, Texas with my family. The Blows, the Halls, the Rivers, the Shepherds, and the Shepherds. Somebody say, why is all you shepherds spell your name different? I can tell you why. One shepherd didn't like how the other shepherd spelled his name, so that shepherd changed and put a two P's or one P or H, but they were all shepherds because they all looked alike, and they all talked alike, and they all acted alike. Go shepherds, go. Israel, shepherd is a shepherd, and if any of you see Israel, you be sure and tell him because he's one of those shepherds, whether he will tell you or not. Well, I've told you, so that should be all that's required. Yes, it was some family reunion, but there's a big family reunion today. The Garland family has been a family that has always stayed together, and today they are celebrating their family reunion. This week also, the Threech family will be celebrating their homecoming. Mr. Gates lost his brother this week, Elmer Gates. And I know his funeral will be Wednesday. And Calvin, will you find out what time and where that funeral will be held, please? This is the Clara Luper radio show. And this part of the show is being brought to you by your Allstate agent, Merlin Hildred. The telephone number is 8430811. April has been on vacation and she wanted me to tell you that she will be in the office bright and early Monday morning. If you're talking about insurance, don't talk about it. Go and see Merlin. This is a paid announcement paid for by Merlin Hildred. Last night, the Greyhoff Club, under the leadership of Mr. Gene Ford, met at Freedom Center. There, they discussed the fact that Union Baptist Church in Grayson, Oklahoma, will be celebrating soon 100 years of existence. They were happy because 100 years of existence without a name change. Now, that's really something. Without a name change. And the past members of Grayson's Union Baptist Church will be there to celebrate. I'll be telling you more about that last week. But one thing really touched me last night. As the Grayson and Hoffman people were meeting, a young, beautiful lady, Helen Howard, said, I'm going back to Union Baptist Church to help celebrate the 100th anniversary. However, I was not there 100 years ago, but I was baptized by a minister of that church in the church, and I'm going back. Helen Howard from the Union Baptist Church, and I told you about 3 years ago that T.C. Howard spoke down there, and we all went down there, and we had a wonderful time. We made a presentation to that church. But speaking of deaths, Deacon T.C. Howard lost his brother in Los Angeles, California. And that funeral will be held this coming Thursday or Friday. We will be telling you more about it. And if anyone has any information, please call me at 1220. Hometown is open 24 hours for your convenience at 2001 Northeast 23rd Street in Oklahoma City. 24 hours. And they are very grateful to you for your support. And when you come in, they want you to be sure and look at what's on sale because they have some red hot sales on meat, canned goods, and what have you. Tom's Barbecue, 2504 Northeast 10th Street, where you can not only get the good old barbecue ribs, barbecue chicken, barbecue hot links, name it. You can also get sweet potato pie. You can also get delicious cake made by that cake expert at Tom's Barbecue, 2504 Northeast 10th Street. You may call in your orders 427-3898 and they will have it ready when you get there. I told you there was a big yard sale at 1640 at 1500 Northeast 50th Street. Yes, that's being today sponsored by Mrs. Gloria Matthews. And Mrs. Gloria Matthews and Mr. Paul Matthews are the proud owners of Johnson Chardina's 1643 Northeast 50th Street. Now, don't go to the daycare center looking for the garage sale, but go to 1500 Northeast 50th Street and you will get anything you want. Mrs. Mathis also made some special beans. And I said, Miss Mathis, how did you do it? She has what is known as a Matthews chili beans. And they will be on sale at Freedom Center, 2609 North Martin Luther King. Today then I'm reminding you that we are preparing now and we are working hard on the Freedom Fiesta. If we had not contacted you, it's because we didn't have enough stamps to write you. We didn't contact you because we didn't know your address, and many of you have moved. But I think it's only fair for you to contact us. We will be at Freedom Center all day today, 424-2384. Come on by. And it's quite interesting to note that many of you have not brought your children to Freedom Center, and therefore they will be behind the hundreds of young teachers and parents that have brought their children to Freedom Center, where they can see some of the great leaders, where they can name 3 presidents that have made such a great contribution to black history. Incidentally, do you know 3 presidents that have made what we consider the greatest contributions to black history? They are all on the Black History Monument. Clara Luper reporting today, and so glad to be home. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you for the support you gave to the Watts family. We had never seen such wonderful support as we saw in the Dungy friends and the Dungy students. And I received the nicest letter from Gotta Mae Anderson Williams that I have ever received. And Gotta Mae, that letter came to me at a time when, sometimes you say, Lord, what's the use? And you really lifted my soul. Not only that, I thank you. And certainly too much can not be said for Mr. Oliver Williams and his beautiful wife, who prepared food for all that participated in the Bernice Watts memorial services. Calvin, well, I'm sure glad you wasn't in Miami, Florida. What would you have done
In
if you had
Tampa,
been there?
Florida.
Tampa, Florida. I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Oh, no,
Miami.
first of all, I'm going to say good morning to you, Mom. Welcome back. It's good to have you back in the studio here, KTLV 1220 on the AM down. We missed you last week.
Well, they tell me you did a beautiful job.
Well, they told you the exact and the and non-exaggerated truth because it was a beautiful show, and one of the highlights of it was hearing your speech there from the church. What was it? The Mayflower Community Church where you spoke. That really kept people going. Fluky came in with his good report. Coco came in with his report. We had a time here, and I'm certain that those people who listen to the radio show still are talking about how good that show was. Even Mrs. Hunter was good. We didn't argue. Mom, can you imagine that? We just told everybody about the upcoming Freedom Fiesta, the days of the different events, and invited them to be a part of it. And I'm certain that the seed has been planted, and we're looking forward to being a part of the Freedom Fiesta 2001. But most happily, we're glad that you're back, and we're ready to see what all else will be happening on the Clara Luper Radio Show. And yes, if I would have been in Tampa, I probably would have been like everybody else. Hopefully, if if that would have happened, if that would have happened in my sight, I would have been able to get it on camera, and that just would have done it. But I don't know what the Baptists will do, but I'm just glad that it was the Baptists where that happened, because I could see that at an ACP meeting, or maybe a Panther meeting, or maybe some of the fraternities meetings, or something in a hotel, and one of the workers has the audacity to take the punch. Things would really be exciting in that particular hotel in more ways than one. But the religion, that's when you really need your religion. You don't have a chance to talk it. It's something that just would have to come natural, and that's what I believe the Baptists did down there. And I know we will be hearing more about that, Mom. But it just shows, I think, a continuing sign of the times, where no matter how hard we try, no matter how many different jobs we have, how much money we have in the bank, we're still subject to those little you will want to learn. But the key is you must want to learn. Your mama can't do it, your daddy can't do it, teacher can't do it, principal can't do it, the bus driver can't do it, the cafeteria worker can't do it. All that we can do is give you an opportunity to learn. So the challenge is out there, young people. Look forward to you not only doing well in the classroom, but also on getting to school and getting from school. But we'll be hearing about that too.
Well, certainly we will, and we will be hearing about this new tax and bond issue.
Now that's
Because when
important
we
too.
read that they were going to close some of our schools, especially John Marsh and some others, naturally that got our attention. But Calvin, they say people that what the NACP is doing. You remember when Mrs. Bernice Watts's lights and everything was cut off, and we complained. We didn't keep it to ourselves. We complained, and we had representatives from the Corporation Commission on our show and from OG&E. But let me tell you, we're going a step further. On August the 16th at 9:30, I will have the opportunity to appear before the Corporation Commission, and I want you to go
Now what's
along
what's
with
that
me.
date on that, Mom?
August the 16th at 9:30 in the Jim Throp building. And my argument is very simple. I think the Corporation Commission has a responsibility, and incidentally, they are getting paid well for their job. And remember, those of us that work for NACP are all volunteer workers, and that makes a difference. Well, I want you to know that I will be there, and I need your support. I need you to tell me what you think I need to say, because I don't want to do like some elected officials, just run my mouth, not saying what the people want, just running my mouth. And I was very disappointed with my councilwoman on that bridge issue, because I would have been ashamed to be been the only one that voted. I
Well,
mean,
she
everybody
wasn't.
else,
Remember, she said she's not married to the bridge.
but she is married to the black people that elected her, and those are mostly black people. Well, that's another story, and I'm going to ask our councilwoman to come out and explain to the people, because everybody's been calling me, complaining. Call her and tell her you didn't like it, and you want the bridge, because they can fix everything else. They can fix everything else, and they can fix that bridge, and thank God they are going to do it,
Okay,
and they
well,
can figure out how to do it.
on
But
fixing
I'm
the
going
bridge,
to
but
the
on
Corporation
okay.
Commission, and I'm going to tell them, and I'm going to speak for the senior citizens and the sick and the handicapped that may not be physically able to go to the mailbox or to get the sign. And who said they could read it? They could be blind. But anyway, I want your help and I need your assistance, because I find out every day that I don't know what I need to know, and you can
That's
help
certainly
me.
true.
You can help me to know what I need to know.
Well,
And
in
you want to
helping
go with me? Just call me and tell me you want to go
in,
with me.
in helping you find out what you need to know. Now, you want people who've had complaints with OG&E or ONG, because this summer we're talking OG&E problems, but this winter I bet you a dollar to a donut it'll be Oklahoma natural gas problems once again.
Whatever
You
you
know.
want, you get it to me, and I will be able to go there
Well,
and speak intelligently for the people. Because if you're satisfied with the way they turn your gas and your lights and water off, you don't have to say one word. You don't even have to come up and buy some beans, because you're so free. Beans for sale at Freedom Center. Beans. Red beans, white beans, lima beans, pork and beans, baked beans, 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 beans. Well, anyway, I told you And those of you that are having problems, once again, I told you, and I'm not playing with you, and nor am I playing with the Corporation Commission, OG&E, and others. Calvin, where are we?
Mom, we're here in Oklahoma City.
Well, thank God we're in Oklahoma
We're
City.
here
Last
on
week I was in,
KTLV.
Fort
We're
Worth,
here on
so I
your
went there.
1220 AM dial, and
Okay.
we're here as a part of your show, and we have a caller that is here with us. Good morning. Thank you for being a part of this, the Clara Luper radio show.
Well, good morning to you, Calvin, and also to Clara, and also to the radio audience that's listening to us today. I want to add to what Mr. Luper just said about our utilities. I'm talking about light, water, and gas, because I feel that we really should be considerate, and people will pay. One thing, Mr. Luper, that I've never understood, they come out and they turn your lights off. Well, you can't pay the $2. Then you say it takes $2 more to turn it on. And then when you don't turn it on a certain time, and when you see billing late, they charge you an extra $2. If you can't pay the two, if you add to it high in the thunderation, can I pay the four if I can't pay the two? So this is something I want them to think about. And really and truly, I really feel we have so many senior citizens now. And we have so many senior citizens who are getting slammed now, early in age. Because I want to tell them that and then they are disabled. And then we have a number of senior citizens who's living alone. They do not have anyone living with them. And so we need to start to think of some kind of program where our senior citizens is using our electorate and how we go about contacting them. Because I feel that now I'm getting where I can't hardly get around, and I certainly would hate for someone to come and turn my lights off because I wasn't able to go there and pay my bill without considering what's wrong with that lady. That lady has been using our electric for 50 years, and she has paid it for 50 years. And today, she is not paying her bill. So let me send a representative. You got a whole lot of them. It doesn't just take but a minute to stop by. If it has to be the man that's coming to read the meters. Stop by. I said, well, I'm just going to knock and see if you were here. You've been paying religiously, and I wanted to know if you were here on a long vacation and didn't notify us or something. And I really feel for the senior citizens, this should be considered, and by now they do know who their senior citizens are. All right, so much for that. But
Are you going to help me collect some complaints so when I go before the Corporation Commission on the 16th, I will not be speaking alone for
well,
Clara Luper?
Mrs. Luper, I have a complaint because I got one of my utility bills, and that utility bill went up from about 100, I'm going to say 200, I just give you an even figure, from 200 to $500. I said, oh, my God, this man is taking half of my salary. How can I pay my other bills? If one bill goes up that much,
okay, you're
I
going
have
to
a
give
complaint,
me.
so I'm going to be collected.
Okay.
Now I want to talk about the Freedom Fiesta, and especially on Friday. I want them to come out and have breakfast with us on Friday morning. We hate to cook breakfast. So all of you senior citizens and young people and workers who do not want to get up and fix breakfast on Friday, come up to the Freedom Center Friday morning at 8 o'clock and have your breakfast. However, we'll be there and ready by 7:30. But if you get there at 8, I want to let you know that you will have breakfast. You can get your breakfast at the Freedom Center. So come up to the Freedom Center on Friday, the 24th of August, and have your Freedom Fiesta breakfast. And then that night, we're having a fabulous show. We have Crown and Mississippi Fiesta and Freedom Fiesta, and we also will be having a wonderful fashion show.
Well, thank you. Mrs. Hunter, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak at your mission program. I enjoyed that music so much, and those were the kind of songs that I love, and I want you to pass that on.
But so many people called, and especially those who were in attendance, told me how much they enjoyed your speech. And listen, on yesterday, I was down at the school, and I was looking for someone to talk with, so I went to the library, and there was Mrs. Roth. I said, Mrs. Roth, I'm sure glad that you are here because I can get the things that I want and get some information that I want to get, and then I can be on my way. And I know Mrs. Roth is going to come by Friday morning before school and have her breakfast. And if she doesn't make that, I'm sure she's going to attend a fashion show on the 24th.
Oh, that Clara Luper, fabulous, $100, $50, and
Well, I'm
$25
sure she's
dinner.
coming to your dinner also, Mrs. Luper. Because we
Okay.
have some supporters out here that appreciate what the young people did when they stood out in the hot sun and took all the mistreatments that they took just for us. We were too afraid to go. We were too busy to go. We were too good to go. We were too pretty to go. But they stood there in the heat with the water put on them, monkeys put on them, spit put on them, and all the other things that they tolerated.
Miss Hannah,
I want to thank them for that.
it was interesting Monday night because Clara Luper received another one of these threatening letters. And somebody's always threatening Clara Luper. They had a heart, and in the heart they had blood coming out of it, and they say that was a prophecy. But I didn't realize how much you all were concerned about me and how you insisted that I would report that to the police. And I'm happy to tell you I did report it, and Captain Carson has been looking into it.
Well, I'm glad because that letter really was heartbreaking, and it was a threat to us. To me, it was a threat to us. And I'm wondering, what have we done other than try to help people? That's all that we've done.
Well, if they kill Clara Luper, I don't have to worry about it. The fight will be carried on because.
And let me thank the councilmen that voted to keep the bridge.
Well, your councilman didn't vote to keep
I saw
it.
that in the paper, and I read that in the paper, and I'm sure she does know that we read it in the paper. And I'm sure she knows that it was the blacks that were down there asking them to maintain the bridge. That is a beautiful bridge, Mrs. Luper. And when they were telling me, we can't this, it costs more to repair the bridge than it would to build a new one. Don't
Well, have
tell
you
me
told
that
your
because I wasn't born
Mrs.
yet.
Hunter, have you told your councilwoman that you didn't like it?
Well, I think she does know now that I read it, and I didn't appreciate.
But did you tell her?
No, I have not called her. I called her, but I have not gotten her to call to tell her that this is what the majority of the blacks wanted to maintain the bridge. And if they tore that bridge down, do you see what big drop it would be? A big drop it would be from the point of that bridge down to where the railroad tracks are?
Well,
But
anyway,
they couldn't tell me that.
anyway, we've saved the bridge, but I told you about Calvary Baptist Church, and I sure would like to get Reverend Davis on my radio show. I've been trying to get him,
I'm
but I
wondering why
cannot
did
get
he
him.
want to change the name of a
I don't know. You have to ask
historical
him.
church as that?
One thing about it, the church has a name now, and it doesn't have anything that relates more or less to something that a lot of people believe in. And I would like to Reverend Davis or some of those good old Calvary members to call me and give me the name of your church.
And why did they change the name of Calvary Baptist Church? Because that church on that corner has so much historical value in it.
But some people
Not
don't care.
because it's Calvary.
Some people don't care anything about history. I call a lot of people that are in Oklahoma City carpetbaggers. They have come here with their bags and they want to change everything, just like everything starts with them. And I have seen that in churches. I've seen it in organizations. But then we used to sing an old song in the civil rights movement. I ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. And that's really out of our heart. I'm not going to tell you the name of Calvary Baptist Church. Some of you members that allowed it to be done, I want you to tell the
they'll call
people.
us in. Well, I drove by the other day and I looked up to see if they had changed the marquee. And
That's a little expensive.
they haven't changed that name as yet. It's still up there.
Well, I wish they would call me and tell me how proud they are of their new name and give me the name of it.
And the affiliation with the name.
Well, they don't have to affiliate because, see, some people come to Oklahoma City and lie their way into Oklahoma City. Just tell big lies. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do it. Once they get here, they change just like cattle. No, they change just like, I don't know what. They change colors. But anyway, I want you to know one thing. If you're proud of the name of your church, you call me and tell me the name of your church, because I'm not going to tell it, because you know what I say. This is Clara Luper saying, if you love me, baby, you prove it to me.
That's right, and we'll see all of you at the Freedom Free Esther from Monday through Saturday.
Well, I want to know who's going to be the first person to order some beans today. What kind of beans do you like? Red beans, pinto beans,
Well, I
lima
have
beans,
white beans
chili
that I'm
beans.
taking up there, and I hope they'll buy.
Do you have a peach cobbler?
I do.
Well, bring that peach cobbler on up there. But I got a pear
But
cobbler that's
only
out
if
of
they buy
sight.
them white beans, they get my peach cobbler. If they don't buy my white beans, I don't give them my peach cobbler.
Well, I know one thing.
That's the
I'm
This
combo,
kidding.
huh?
is
Really
Letty.
kidding.
Bye, bye,
Bye.
Letty. I'll see you at Freedom Center.
All right. You know, the bean dinner will start promptly at what, 10:30?
10:30. The
10:30 at the Freedom
bean
Center. And
dinner
mom,
will start.
mom, you know,
Okay, somebody's on the line, Kevin. We better get
yes,
them. It
I
might
know. I
be.
was trying to tell you that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Thank you for being a part of the Clara Luper Radio Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coco Thomas, your fantastic reporter. As you know, the Freedom Fiesta is getting closer and closer, so get ready to support and participate with us. And please don't forget that our NAACP Youth Council meetings are every Monday night at 7 o'clock, and I hope to see you there.
How about the bean dinner?
Our bean dinner is today, so come on down and buy a delicious bean dinner.
Okay, okay.
Coco, are you ready for school?
Yes, I am. I'm
Yeah.
getting ready.
Yes, good. I saw you working hard yesterday. Where were you working?
Estelle's Restaurant.
Okay. Coco is a little waitress there. That girl is so versatile and so talented. Looking forward to hearing about all of the things that you do in school this year. Where is that this year?
Millwood Middle School.
Millwood Middle School. Coco's there.
Well, we
All
are,
right, we looking
Calvin,
forward to that.
at our family reunion, we had more people, more seniors to finish high school than ever. We are so proud of the Pullens and the Germanys and the Halls and the Henderson and all of you that finished. We are really proud of you.
Okay.
This is the
Thank you,
Clara
Coco.
Luper Radio Show, and those of you that aren't carpetbaggers, I would like for you to come by and get a dinner and pick up your tickets. The tickets are only for the Clara Luper dinner, $25, $50, and $100. You'll be surprised what we are going to be able to do. You have seen those empty spots at Freedom Center. You've seen what has happened with our signs. All of that's going to be replaced because of you. I would like for someone from the T.C. Howard family to call me and tell me when their brother's funeral will be held in Los Angeles.
Right, Mom. But we have a call on the line, too, that wants to comment and share with us. Thank you for being a part of this, the Clara Luper Radio Show, on a beautiful Saturday morning, August the 11th, 2001. Thank you. How you doing?
All right.
Good.
I was calling to tell Mom, the most honorable Miss Clara Luper, this is your son, Baron Hopgood. Just want to
Oh, Baron!
just want to let you know that I'm not a carpetbagger. I am a product of the NAACP Youth Council. If it wasn't for my mom and Clara Luper and the Freedom Center and the NAACP, I would not be a successful businessman, a man of God, a preacher, because y'all have taken out the time to instill in me the history of where we came from. And I told you at Kinko's that I am going to purchase a $100 ticket in my company for the Clara Luper Day on Saturday and be there because I do love you, Miss Luper, and I hate to hear that somebody sends you a letter of threat because you have done a lot for this community and definitely you have done a lot for me instilling the principles of this history, this rich history of ours, of where we come from.
That's right.
And if it wasn't for Miss Luper, my speaking ability would not be superb like it is today as I travel across the country and preach and minister to God's people. I had a problem of shyness about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was cured by the product of NAACP and Miss Luper instilling and drilling and staying on me to be what I'm supposed to be, a tremendous and a powerful orator for God and for our people. So I just wanted to call in and let you know that I am a supporter, not a carpetbagger. I am a product of this city, of NACP, of Clara Luper, and that I will support. And just send me the information, or I would stop by and give that money, and we will be at that dinner, my company and my business.
Okay, let's talk about your company. What's the name of your company?
The name of the company is Optasia Enterprises.
Who?
LLC. Optasia. That is the Greek word where we get optical, vision. And the reason why we named that is because our company has a vision and we're ready to venture and to explore every avenue to make money and to build our community up. So the name of the company is Optasia Enterprises, LLC. We are a limited liability company.
Well, we had put you down to do our prayer at the Clara Luper's dinner.
I would love to do that, Mom.
Okay, honey. Look at my son. You know, Calvin, I am so rich. I have
Thank
so
you,
many
Brother Brian.
successful children. And I feel sorry for you that are my age that have nobody. I'm sure your life will be extremely lonesome, but mine is just so full of happiness because I've invested in more than my children. And yesterday was Shelley's birthday, and boy, boy, boy.
Right. You know, Mama, I have to join with Brian. It's such a thrill to see the young people that have been a part of the NACP Youth Council, that have been a part of the churches and a part of the Oklahoma City school system, seeing them grow up, grow strong, and to bring something back. You know, in the business community, we always talk about giving back. During the Miss Black, you know, there are hundreds, well, there are close to 100 businesses who give back to the community. There are people that give back, and it's good to know that you've been a part, such an integral part of instilling in them the need to understand your history so you know where you're going.
Unless you know where you're going, you won't know where you have to go. You know, in my experience, I had some whites to ask me, and these were white professionals. Say, Miss Luper, I can't understand why blacks don't know their own history. I was so glad they told me that. They asked me why, and I said, I've had experience in teaching both blacks and whites. And I noticed that whites don't know their history. There are many whites that don't know the background of the Declaration of Independence. There are many whites who do not know about those groups in Connecticut that refuse to cooperate with others. They don't even know why that's a West Virginia. So I would like to answer your questions by saying that both blacks and whites need to know their history. This is Clara Luper saying once again, I don't want you to wait until I die or someone stick something through my heart and it's bleeding like it was on that thread and letter that I have. I want you to give me my flowers while I live. And my flowers today will be in the form of your coming up to Freedom Center, buying some beans, red beans, white beans, lima beans, baked beans, all kind of beans, peach cobbler, pear cobbler, and picking up your ticket. Now, I know you are able to buy a ticket. Don't tell me that you aren't able to spend 25, 50, or $100. I would rather buy $100 ticket than come up and work with kids every day and on Monday nights. I tell you what, if you don't want to give a donation, I tell you what, maybe the carpetbaggers will give a penny. If you, then we
Well,
can
well,
tell next week that the carpetbaggers, Reverend Carpetbagger, Deacon Carpetbagger, oh, all of
well,
the
Mom,
carpetbaggers.
let's take this caller. We don't know who it
Okay,
is, but we
yes,
know that we want to
okay.
welcome you to the Clara Luper Radio Show.
Yeah, I would call this is C.C. Howard calling.
Yes.
My brother's funeral in California would be March the 18th, which is
When?
my brother's.
August.
Not March.
I mean, August the 18th.
Thank you.
August the 18th at 11 o'clock in Los Angeles, California.
But where? Because there are a lot of people. Now, you know how everybody feels about you, Deacon Howard.
Yeah,
And you've been with us all of the time. We want to know where the funeral will be.
yeah, it's going to be at St. Paul Baptist Church, Los Angeles, California, August the 18th at 11 o'clock.
And that's your oldest brother, right?
Yes,
What is his name?
Elmer W. Howard.
Elmer Howard's funeral will be.
August the 18th at
August
11
the
o'clock.
18th at 11 o'clock at St. Paul Baptist Church.
Thank you so very kindly.
You're welcome.
I cannot say too much for the Howards. They have supported us all of their lives. We would like to thank you. And certainly our sympathy is with that family.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Brother Howard.
Okay.
Deacon Howard, we look forward to seeing you.
Mr. Gates' brother's
Yeah,
funeral will
I've
be
been
on
trying to
Wednesday.
find information. I've been trying to reach
It
out
will
to
be
folks,
Wednesday,
but
we
it will be
know.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Right. Well, Mom, you know we've come a long way as a people. We've come a long way together. Looking forward to going much further. As Fluky said last week, that first step is the first step toward 1,000,000 miles, and we've made that step. So I think the challenge. I know the challenge is on for us to continue to progress, to continue to improve ourselves. And in Oklahoma City, we've got to do it. We can do it working together. Invite you all to go by, come by the Freedom Center and be a part of those beings. But in the course of your week's activities, go down on Walnut there and stand on that bridge and look out at our beautiful city. You'll see a view there that will be a shame for it ever to be destroyed. This part.
Somebody's called want to know why I don't talk about people with drunks and other things. Well, we all got drunks in our family.
Uh-oh.
Check your family out and see how many drunks you have. See how many members of your family in prison. I sure can't say nothing about nobody. I have to talk about the Clara Luper dinner. And
That's
I
right.
want
That's
you,
Saturday.
they coming up to Freedom Center. Calvin, you got to sing happy
No, I've
birthday. Did
got
you
to.
sing it to Shelley?
I talked to Shelly yesterday on her birthday, and we had a great time. But I have to send her this tape of this program. But also Tanika Pullen, who is having a big party this weekend. Right after school starts, she'll be celebrating her 16th birthday.
Oh, my
Then the
gracious.
Swanigan family now. We got Joyce Swanigan. We got not Andre Swanigan, but Joyce and her daughter and her son and her husband are all celebrating their birthdays this
Well,
week.
Calvin, sing like
And
you
then
have never sung
I got
before.
to, Mom. I'm getting ready for it.
Okay,
And then
Calvin,
Marva
get ready.
Nunley,
Get
we want
ready,
you to
Calvin.
say happy birthday. We want you to have a happy birthday. I know you had a
Okay.
great time. And Shelly, this song goes out to all of you
Sing it,
people
sing
who
it,
had
Calvin.
birthdays this week and be having them. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Marva, Trina, the Swanigan family. Happy birthday, Shelley, too. And may you have many, may you have many, many more.
This is Clara Luper saying, come on up to Freedom Center and get those beans. Go to Gloria's and get something from that garage sale. Oh, beans, 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 beans.
Freedom
Good old
Center.
beans. Bye bye.
Bye bye.